So please give me a round of applause for Ibrahim.
What's the time? 3 o'clock? I was about to say morning, afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Awesome. I need more energy because what you give me is what I'm going to give you. So if you're dead, I'm going to be dead. How's everyone? One more time. How is everyone? Thank you. You lot are boring. You lot are trying to work in media and you're like, well, okay. Well, for those who don't know, my name's Ibrahim Kamara. I'm 24, bloody old. I just turned 24. I'm from South London. Anyone from South London here?
North London.
Wow. No one from London? Anyone from London? Wow. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I'm from London, and I like to say I'm a creative entrepreneur. What that means is I'm a bit of creative, I'm a bit entrepreneur. I got like lots of different skill sets, and doing GUAP allows me to embrace on all of them. But I'll tell you a bit more about that later. So, throughout this whole talk, I want it to be a conversation. I don't want to talk at you. So, I want everyone to engage. So, the first thing I'm going to get you guys to do, the person behind you or in front of you, say hi to them.
Hi.
And then, I'm going to get to know some of you. So... how come you're here today?
Yeah. So I don't really know what I want to do after uni, and listening to like loads of people talk about what they do like helps me decide maybe what area I want to do.
Okay, that's good. Anyone else? Yeah, you.
Me?
Yeah, how come you're here today?
Sorry?
How come you're here today? Why are you here? What do you want to gain from today?
Well, it was because myself I want to do event management, and event management is not that easy field to get into, and you have to be really unique to be able to get that network that you need. Later on in my future, I want to have like my own company.
Okay.
And to do that, you have to be first professional what you're doing, second unique, and have like great amount of skills in order to be to own your own company and be a successful event manager.
It's interesting that you have all those standards of what it is, but we'll get into that later. I'm going to ask one more person. I call eye contact you, sorry. Why? How come you're here today? What do you want to gain from today? Yes, you.
Well, when I got the guest speakers list, I checked each person who's coming to speak, and I thought you were nice. I checked it out, and I thought it was really interesting. It was really creative.
Right,
and I'd really like to know what the
thought process.
Yeah, what process is behind that.
All right, sweet. Thanks. So, who in this room wants to be an entrepreneur? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
Well, I've got like a little secret about being an entrepreneur. It's not a choice. That's the harsh truth. I feel if you're an entrepreneur is a feeling within you, you don't just wake up and make a business. Making a business doesn't make you an entrepreneur. It's something that's within you that you practice as a lifestyle. I think the word entrepreneur comes from these two Latin words. So entree, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but entree, to swim out, prende, to grasp. And what that says to me is about finding new opportunities, and once you have an opportunity, making sure you grasp it at any cost possible and doing all you can to make it happen. If you don't have those characteristics, I don't think you are an entrepreneur. Like I said, it's not a choice. There's this great quote from Maya Angelou, and it says, "Nothing will work unless you do." And why I've put that quote there is to say to you guys, I'm no different to any of you guys in this room. I'm no better, I'm no less. The only thing that I do is work hard, and by working hard or working smart, things have happened. So any one of you guys could be where I'm standing right now, and if you work hard. So I'm going to get more into how I actually got here today. So if we're talking about how GUAP started and how I am who I am today, we have to go back like 10 years to when I was in school. So this was me before. So when I was like 13, 14, I used to be like an MC. I used to make music, and while doing that, I learned so many skills because I was an independent artist. I had to learn how to do branding. I learned how to do marketing. Learned how to shoot my own videos because I couldn't be bothered to pay anyone to do them. Learned how to do MySpace layouts, and that's how I learned how to do HTML and website design kind of stuff. And yeah, I think the lack of having the resources made me want to learn to do the stuff myself. So I would just spend hours on YouTube just learning all the skills I needed to push out my music. So this was during school up until first year of uni. But while I was in school, I also had a side hustle. Is this recognizable to anyone? So basically, while I was in school, I used to sell. I have a business selling donuts and Lucozades. I used to get these for 70p or 65p from Sainsbury's, and I would sell each one for 50p in the school playground. And then Iceland used to have this deal where it was 8 for £6 and it was £3 for 8, and I would like freeze them overnight and sell each bottle for £1. So really, I was making like £5 profit from each one. And then I recruited someone who was in like year 9 while I was in year 10. So they could, like, I literally had my own business, and there was competitors, so you had to do lower prices and stuff. And yeah, literally, I didn't think about doing that. I wanted to make money. I didn't want to do anything illegal, even though it was illegal in school, but I didn't want to go to jail. Yeah, so this was a hustle for me in school. And even during this time, I learned so much about business, so all about profit margins, about recruiting staff, about getting customers and doing deals with customers so they come back to you and not the other people. So a lot of my secondary school life helped me gain a lot of transferable skills that I didn't know of until I was actually doing this presentation that have allowed me to be where I am today. So after school, I went to a college called SFX, and in SFX I studied accounting, economics, maths, and media. And I remember going into college for the induction day, and the woman who was interviewing me about choosing what subjects I wanted to study, she basically tried to make me not choose media. She told me it wasn't a serious subject. And because I had good grades from secondary school, they were trying to push me into doing stuff like biology and that kind of stuff. And I was adamant that I'm not doing it because I wanted, like, economics, maths, and accounting, those were boring subjects anyway. So I wanted something that I could express myself through, and they didn't do music, so I done media. I done all right in college, got, I think, BBB. But after college, I didn't have no clue what I wanted to do. And I have like African parents, and they put a lot of pressure on you to go uni and stuff. And so the whole dream of me wanting to do music and that became less real. So I decided to go and do accounting just because that was the one I got the highest grade on. To be honest, I didn't really understand what being an accountant was. It just was a subject I was good at. And yeah, so I went to uni to do that. But I knew before I went to uni that I didn't want to just do one thing. I always knew I didn't want to do that. So I started researching on like YouTube, financial freedom and wealth and all that kind of stuff. And before I went to college, before I went to uni, the holiday before uni, I read this book, Who's heard about this book before? Has anyone read it? None of you guys have read this. Well, this book teaches you all about financial freedom and just basically changes your mindset about money. And after reading this book, yeah, everything kind of changed for me. I wanted to be a person in business. I wanted to be someone who invests in stuff. I wanted the entrepreneur lifestyle. So yeah, I went to uni. Went to a uni called Kent, and that's meant to be me being an accountant. Studying accounting and finance, and yeah, it was very boring. Like, I wish if I went back to uni, I'd probably do like media or something I actually enjoy, because this was actually very boring. But while doing that, I never actually worked. I always was trying to teach myself something. So during uni, I taught myself how to trade, because I wasn't planning on going and getting a job. So I was spending hours or going to uni and then rushing back home to watch tutorials or check trades, just that drive of DIY. And then I remember I was meant to do a placement year. Does everyone know what a placement year is? I was meant to do a placement year, and I remember I was just applying for jobs that I had no clue what they meant, like, at all. I just literally felt like I had to do it, because when I started, I said I was going to do it. So I was applying for accountancy jobs, applying for HR, applying for recruit, like just things I wasn't interested in at all. And I remember the final interview I ever done was with a company called PwC, and they are one of the biggest accountancy firms in the world. I got through to the final stage, had my final interview, and I remember they didn't get back to me for months, and they had told me that they were going to get back to me within weeks. So during that whole time period, I was so anxious and had so much anxiety and doubt about myself, even though I knew what I was capable of. The whole process made me doubt myself. So I kind of made a promise to myself that if I don't get that, I'm never doing that process again, because I feel during the whole school process, college, you get taught the smarter you are, the easier it is for you to get a job. But when it comes down to it, that's not what happens, because I was very smart academically, but I couldn't land a job. So yeah, I just promised myself that if I don't get this job, I'm never doing it again. Didn't get the job. Well, I had to even call them and find out what happened with the application process after months, and only then did they tell me that I didn't get it. So yeah, it was quite frustrating. But yeah, so from there I said, yeah, I'm going to do business. And I remember I had so basically every single year in January, I go to the £1 shop. Actually, I've upgraded now. I go to Tesco, and I get a notepad, and I literally just say my targets for that year. So in my house, I've got like a drawer of all the books from every single year and my plans for every single year. So yeah, I remember going and getting that book from the pound shop and saying, I want to start a business by July 2015. I didn't even know what it was going to be. I just said I want to do it. And off the back of that was the birth of GUAP. So does anyone know what GUAP stands for? Can anyone guess? I'm going to pick someone, so someone just pick your hand up. What does GUAP stand for? Do you want to guess? Has anyone ever heard? Yeah, go on. What? No.
Oh, what, the name GUAP?
Yeah, like GUAP. This.
Oh, money.
GUAP. Yeah, so money. So like, where I'm from, we would use GUAP for money. So when we started, I started this business with my business partner in my final year of uni. And when we started, we thought we was going to make lots of money, so we called it GUAP. And then we started we wanted it to mean something, so we made acronyms for it. So GUAP actually stands for Great Understanding and power. And who are we? So GUAP is a revolutionary platform that's here to showcase emerging talent within music, fashion, arts and business. We do this through content, so we shoot content. We do this through events, and we do this through experiences, and we do that for ourselves, and we work with bigger brands to help them engage with younger audiences and younger creatives. The reason why GUAP started is because growing up like yourself, who was confused about what you want to do, there was only certain roles that were shown to us. So let's say me being a black male from South London, most of the guys I know ended up becoming either footballers, rappers, accountant, doctor, or gang members. Like that's just the harsh reality. So me and my business partner wanted to show other young people that there are young people doing some random jobs and doing some crazy creative things and actually making a living out of it. So we just decided that we wanted to document these stories in an attempt to inspire and entertain other young people. So yeah, that's how it started, and that's our whole purpose. I want to show you a video of our flagship product. So as you guys might have heard, we're the world's first video magazine. Does anyone understand what that means? Okay, let me explain it. Has anyone heard of augmented reality? Yeah. So basically, as I said before, we shoot all our videos through, I shoot like literally everything on the GUAP channel, and everything we do, I've shot. And I was saying to Daniel earlier, I don't like writing. So when we started, I already had a camera from music. So we just said we're going to go out and shoot video interviews and call it a video magazine, because we researched on the internet that magazine actually means a collection of items, but we all think, when we think magazine, we just think about paper magazine, but a magazine is a collection of items. So we just called it a video magazine because we was going to do video interviews, and yeah, we was just going to do it online. As time progressed, I went to an event like this, and there was talkers, and I was telling people about the idea of a video magazine. Then I spoke to an accountant for literally 5 minutes, and he had told me, have I ever heard of augmented reality? At that time I hadn't. And then I was like, no. Then he said I should look into it. So that same day I went home and I checked out what augmented reality was, and I had seen that certain magazines had used the technology for adverts. And then me and my business partner thought, no one's actually using it for the actual content. So they would have written interviews and then video adverts, but no one's got video interviews, video adverts, and like a whole video magazine. So from that we said, instead of just having the videos that we produce online, we're going to use augmented reality, design a whole magazine, and shoot videos and use augmented reality to bring the print to life. And when we done that, at first we thought we was the only people in this country that do it, but then when we done deeper research, we realized we're the world's first video magazine. And yeah, so here's a clip of how it works.
Although I'm not where I want to be yet, I'm winning. I see myself as super. Like, I have to get on Victoria's Secret somehow.
Get that? Yeah? So we just capturing the stories of emerging creatives, and that's what we've been doing from the start till now. But obviously we've expanded into many other things. How do I go to presentation? Yes.
At the bottom of the right. Yeah.
So Oops, what did I
Just
do?
give it a minute, the computer's slack.
So, these are all the people that we've worked with so far. So, we started in 2015, and we've worked with Nike, and we're currently doing a lot of work with them right now because they're all about emerging creatives, and that's what our brand is about right now. We created a short film for them around mental health and creatives and running and trying to find a link with them. ICA, we are the youth ambassadors, so we help them get younger audiences into traditional institutions like the ICA. Vice, we done an event called Young Kings, where we've got young males all in one room and got them to network and inspire each other. And we had guest speakers. Afropunk, we put their pre-party on. Southwark Council done a bid to become the cultural city of, I think, the UK, and we created a short film for them. Sony Music, we do a lot of interviews and stuff with these guys. Peckham Levels, this is where our office is right now, and before we moved in, we created a documentary for them to try and get again, younger audiences to apply to be in there. And we got an influencer called the Slumflower to host it. 5 Miles is a music venue in Tottenham. It had no artwork, it was very plain. And we basically pitched to them that we would get creators from the local area to create art pieces for the venue. And then we had like an art exhibition with live music, and yeah, it was like a very good event. And all of these things have literally just come from putting our stuff out. There was no, I couldn't tell you what we done to be working with Nike. Do you have a question? Oh, 5 miles. 5 miles. Yeah. Literally, everything connects to each other. So if I'm going to give you like a point right now, it would be the more you put out, the more you'll gain. It's like you never know who's watching you. So even us working with Nike, they had told us they've been watching us for a year before they even approached us. So if we had stopped on the way, we would have never known the potential of who we could have been working with. Just something to note. We've also given a lot of people their first magazine covers and stuff. So this is Jay Huss in 2016. We gave him his first ever magazine cover. Let's say 2 years later, he's like nominated for Brit Awards, top 10 albums and singles. So a lot of our cover stars, we try and profile people who we think are going to do big things. And that's one of the things that's very close to us. We don't try and work with people based on how big they are. We work with people based on talent, and we try to be a platform that profiles the next big thing rather than time-focused content. So another point I'd say, whatever you're doing, know why you're doing it and make sure you're consistent with it. Off the back of GUAP, I've had a few achievements. So I've spoken at things like NME Life Hacks, been on One Extra. We won Magazine of the Year at the first ever YMB Awards. This was when we were announced for the ICA partnership and done in newspapers. And I guess doing GUAP has allowed me to literally use all the skills I've ever gained in my life. So one day I'll be shooting videos. The other day I could be managing an artist. The other day I could be making music. The other day I could be, I don't know, directing a video or creating an event. And this is all me. It all comes down to me as a brand, and it all comes to me as an individual. And I don't think if I had done anything else, I would have been able to exercise all the skills I do now and get paid for it. So if I was to give you some tips, they're quite straightforward. I would say stay curious. By that I mean always ask why. and don't just accept things for what they are. I feel like people just take things for face value. If you don't ask why, you'll never find out. With things, let's say everything in this room, everything we're wearing was made from somebody. That was someone's idea. So if it doesn't exist and you think you might have the capability, ask why it hasn't been done, and then potentially that could be a new business. I would say be yourself at all times. The same way I'm talking to you guys now is the same way I talk in board meetings, is the same way I talk to my friends. Like, I'm 100% myself, and I feel you should always be that, because if you're trying to be someone else, you'll get found out one day. Because I remember when I was trying to apply for these accountancy jobs and stuff, that wasn't me at all. And I remember going to the interviews and trying to put on a persona that wasn't me, and maybe that's why I never got the jobs. But by being yourself, the best you can be is yourself. So if someone doesn't want to work with you, but while you're being yourself, it wasn't meant to happen. If they do, then they do, innit? Know your values and stick to them. So, like I said, always ask why, and ask why with yourself as well. Why are you on this path? Why are you doing this certain thing? Why? If you don't know your values, it's easy for you to be swayed. Like, let's say, I don't know, let's say someone if someone gives you £1 billion to do something that's against your values, would you do it or not? You have to, in them circumstances, if you don't know yourself, you'll easily be swayed. I would say this is like probably the main one. Just be nice. A lot of opportunities come from you meeting people in person and just talking to people. If you're not a nice person, if your energy and you just seem like a person that's not nice to speak to, especially in the creative industries, the word will get around and people will not work with you just because you're not nice. And on the flip side, people will work with you just because you're nice. Sometimes your skill set takes you, let's say, 50%, and the other 50% is just being a nice person. This is a saying my mum says all the time to me, or she used to say to me when I was younger. Try and fail is no disgrace. If you try something and you fail, it's better than not trying at all, because upon trying, you've learnt so many things that you wouldn't have learnt without trying, or you've seen new things or done new things that you wouldn't have done if you hadn't tried. So let's say if I had never tried GUAP, I would not be here. I've never been to Coventry in my life, so I would not be here definitely. But just trying to do something that I believe in has allowed me to just pursue what I want to do. I remember when after university, my mum was trying to force me to get a job. So I remember getting a job at Tesco, just a part-time thing. And I remember the day I said I'm going to leave, and one of the managers was basically saying to me, am I sure I want to do it, or how am I going to make money, etc., etc. And to be honest, at that point, I didn't actually know how we would make more money and how I'd live off of it. But I knew time is the only thing I can't get back. So the longer I was there, the longer it's going to take me to get successful in what I want to do. So I literally just left. And a year and a half later, we had the office and we're doing what I want to do. And this is going to lead to the negative parts of doing your own stuff. It will be lonely. It's not a thing. Unless you have a very good business partner, it will be a lonely journey. And no one is going to see your vision until it's in their vision. So until talking about your vision and that, they might see a little bit, but until you've actually brought it from your mind to reality, no one's going to understand. When I was starting GUAP, I had friends that didn't even support me. but only until people outside my circle started realizing what we're doing, then my friends started realizing. I say friends, they weren't my real friends, but the associates. You will be broke unless you got like a rich family member, or you get some funding and stuff. You will be broke. So like us, we literally built everything from the ground up. Everything was self-funded. We bought our own cameras, we bought our own sound equipment, etc., etc. So for a long period of time, wasn't broke, but it was just, we could only do the necessities, so food and travel. But you have to go through that stage, because I think if you want to be rich from doing your own thing, you have to understand the value of money. So you have to understand that all these little things that we buy on a day-to-day basis, most of them are just expenses that we don't need to. So like, even down to clothes, I buy clothes once a year, literally once a year. So my birthday is in December, there's good Christmas sales and there's Boxing Day sales. So that's the only time, and I buy it for the whole year. That's my worth. I don't put my worth in clothes and stuff like that. If you want to be rich or you want to be financially free, you have to understand that you have to put your money into other money to make it work for itself. Friendships will fade when you're first starting out. When you're first starting out, when you're like really focused on one thing, a lot of relationships start to like fall. So I would say, if I could give advice to you, I would say try not to do that. It's very difficult, but try, because I've actually not lost good friends of mine, but some of my relationships have been hurt because I was so focused on making a business at the start. So I would say, try and remember the important things. Obviously, having a business is important and making your dreams come true is important, but making sure your loved ones know they're loved and spending time with your loved ones is as important as well. Thanks for your time. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. To be honest, I've never actually done a presentation. I just talk, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know. Is there any questions? Yeah.
Do you have any regrets?
That last one I said about the relationships and stuff like that. Because I fully lost good relationships because I was so focused on GUAP. But I don't know if I hadn't been like that, if I'd be here today. But it's like, you have to know which one's worth more, because at the end of the day, this could all go at once, but that stuff you can't bring back once it's like properly affected. So I would say that's a big regret. So that's why I'd say make sure you focus on that as well. Yeah.
How often do you release issues? Is it like monthly?
Quarterly. So we have several platforms. We have GUAP magazine print, so that comes out quarterly. We have guap.co.uk, that's an online magazine, which we have I think 19 writers across music, arts, fashion, and like business, and they post articles daily, weekly. We have GUAP TV, which is like our YouTube, where we shoot shows and put our interviews on there as well. Then we have like GUAP events, just our own events. And then we're about to launch something called GUAP Studios, but we had a meeting yesterday and said we're going to change the name of it. But that's basically just doing what we do, more of it, but more for other brands. So the stuff we've done for Nike and the stuff we've done for like Southwark, just do that with more organizations and stuff. But that's more business to business, not really for customers. But yeah, the aim is to have GUAP everything. So I want GUAP seats, GUAP toilets, like GUAP everything. Yeah. anyone.
Related to that a bit, this might be somewhat impersonal. How do you make your finances? What is the kind of business model that you're relying on?
So the business model is production. So because we're lucky because we do video production. So because we do video production, we've managed to get big budgets to do stuff. So it goes productions, events, and then our own events. Those are like the main revenue streams. So when we first started, we wanted to do like the traditional advertising, have a page in a magazine, but we realized that doesn't work no more. People don't want to invest in that no more. Most brands are caring about investing in branded content and connections with audiences. So we have a audience that's very wanted right now. So the 18 to 24 millennials, creatives, that's all a demographic that everyone wants right now. And because we already create content for that demographic, and we create content with that demographic, brands have just asked us to collaborate and paid us to do that. So yeah, that's how we make money. Yeah, but for the first 2 years, we made no money, like none. But because we didn't really have outgoings, it was all right.
I don't think I've ever met someone who started their own business who hasn't said the exact same.
Yeah.
First year,
Yeah,
1, 2,
no, it was
5,
peak.
They make no money.
Literally no money, like. But then when we did start making money, the money came in abundance. Like, yeah, like some of the budgets, because even the advertising world, I'm still learning about this world. But the budgets they have for the stuff we can do in like 5 minutes is crazy. So, and you're only gonna know that if you're in it, and so that's why I'd say, yeah, just keep putting your stuff out and make sure it's branded properly and you understand branding, because that will differentiate you from a lot of people, I guess. Because when Nike, we actually asked Nike why they worked with us, because we don't even have, let's say our YouTube, it doesn't have millions of views or something, but they said the way we tell our story and tell the creative story is different to other people, and that's why they chose to work with us.
So it's your USP, is it?
Yes, I think our USP as a company is we have authentic relationships with emerging creatives, and we're like one of the only platforms that provide authentic relationship for them. So all our magazine covers have been shot by emerging photographers, and we connect them with people that they're probably never going to shoot if it wasn't for us. Or they're all styled by emerging stylists. They're all concepted by emerging creatives. So everything we do is like a big collaboration of different emerging creatives, and then we just piece it together and like pay for it, to be honest. So that's how we've worked so far. But at first no money, but production came in handy. And perseverance.
So you've had this company for 3 years. How do you kind of see yourself going over the next 3 years? Like, what's the vision like you had to start off to where you kind of want to see yourself in the future?
The vision is to conquer Europe. So we just want to do the same things we're doing now, Europe-wide. How we get there, not sure yet. But literally, this year, even over the next coming months, we're going over to certain cities to just start planting seeds and having connections with emerging creatives there. So with London, what we done was literally, me and my business partner would go to like lots of different events, talk to everyone and tell them what GUAP is. If they told us the story, we thought that was cool, we'll check out their Instagram and check out their profile and then contact them and get them in the magazine. And because we've done that with so many emerging creatives, when they would share it, their friends would see it. And then when another creative would share it, their friends would see it, and everyone would ask, what's GUAP? So that whole business model of going for the people who aren't really big but have something to say, if we take that on to other countries, we feel like it will have the same effect that it had in London and in the UK. So yeah, that's the plan. So we just want to go there, shoot with them, create events there, and just do the same thing. Yeah. Did I answer it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to also ask, because on your website, is it just kind of like music, but you also like look at the sort of something about fashion as well? So are you looking at that as well in across Europe? Then are you?
Yeah, literally. Music, fashion, arts, business. Literally, the last issue we dropped was
As I say, can we bring it up?
Yeah, let me drop the. So this dropped on Monday, and we literally just got 7 emerging music artists that we think are going to do great things in 2018 on one cover. It was all styled by emerging people, shot by emerging people. But this is like a highly music-based issue. But we have a creative version as well of this same thing. So this one. So these were emerging creatives. So we try and, because with youth culture, music is like a very big part of youth culture. So we tend to have proportionately more music people than the other creatives. However, we try and represent all the creatives, because one reason why we definitely made it is because we didn't want another platform that was only pushing music artists, because there's so many platforms that do that. We wanted to push the people behind the scenes or doing other things. So let's say this guy's a radio presenter, he's a model, he's an entrepreneur, we've done 2, hold on. He's an actor who's in like Doctor Who right now. He's Jay Huss's producer, actually, J5, and she's a young fashion designer. So, yeah, it's a platform for all, but music, because of its influence in culture, yeah. But yeah, so it's for everyone. But yeah, we do have a lot of music stuff. Yeah. Any other questions?
I was just going to ask how you go about actually finding these emerging people in South Africa.
Yeah, so when we first started, it was, like I said, it was literally just us being active on social media or going to events, and literally just, we felt as if we kept on seeing someone, they must have been doing something right. So then we'd contact them. As the team grew, we just got our team to start being our eyes as well, because we could only see so much. So now we all look out for people and then just contact them. But it's very on the ground, and literally just, we don't really do things based on if a PR hits us up and says, oh, I have our artist, blah blah blah. We don't really like that way. We like telling untold stories. So yeah, that's how we do it. Yeah.
Do you have to be very much on the pulse of popular culture and what's currently kind of becoming bigger?
100%.
Because from looking at your website, it seems very much orientated towards urban youth and particularly
100%.
London-centric. Mm-hmm. And so how that initial networking began, I guess, is the interesting part.
I remember reading Jamal Edwards is like someone who's basically done not what I'm doing, but done something similar. So making like a media empire. He has a book, and I remember in his book he said, if you want to get with your target audience, you need to go to their parties, you need to go there and network and that. So that's literally what I've done, because I didn't even have no clue about the creative world. I'm not gonna lie, to be honest, when I was growing up, I thought creative kids were weird. Like that's not the truth. Like I thought, because not weird, but when I was growing up, we wanted to be gangsters and stuff. Like that was what was cool. So after uni and my whole mindset of things changed, this whole world was new to me. So literally just went out there, was speaking to people. And before, networking was hard, but when you know what you're talking about and know you have some value to provide, it gets easier, because every conversation started with GUAP, and then it got to a point where I would say GUAP and people would be like, oh, yeah, I've heard of that, and then it became easier because they had seen some of the people we've worked with before. And I think there was a certain point we interviewed someone who was very big, and that was at a time where even people in our own circles wasn't doing interviews with us. So once we'd done an interview with someone that was like quite more established than people within our own circles, we got a lot more respect for our brand. And every time we do an issue, we tend to keep getting figures that you probably think we're not going to get. And then, so it elevates our brand together.
How do you promote those issues?
We do it through social media. That's your main. Yeah, that's the main. Social media has basically made my career. So like, if I go, so my Instagram. When I was making my transition phase into becoming like a business person, this Instagram used to be my second Instagram. So I used to have 2 Instagrams. This Instagram, I just used to use this Instagram to follow the people that I wanted to be like, because my other Instagram had so many people. So this Instagram, I just followed entrepreneurs. I followed like business quotes and stuff, and it was like just like my little private getaway. Then, literally, from the moment I started GUAP, this was like the first post about GUAP, and we've literally documented this. That was our old logo. Mad, isn't it?
That shows your development. It's good to keep track of.
Yeah, literally documented our whole growth from the start. So a lot of people have followed our journey from the very start. And this is actually what GUAP started from. Like a piece of paper. And these were all the things we said we wanted to do. We didn't even know how we was going to do it. We just put them and then just worked on them. But then we started using social media to work for us. A lot of people use social media for the wrong things. We knew with social media you can basically control how you want people to look at you. So we knew we wanted to be seen as entrepreneurs and stuff. So we just started making our social media look like an entrepreneur. Even on LinkedIn, I remember every single day I would, on my phone, be pressing add for an hour, literally just adding different people just so they can follow me back and then check out what we've done. And those little, even with Instagram, there was an app called Crowdfire, and I would go to people I like, go to their followers, follow all their followers, and then the people that didn't follow me back, by the next day I would unfollow them. And then literally I had just so many marketing strategies to just get the brand out.
Do you struggle being as social media is your main form of interaction, or one of the main forms of interaction? Do you struggle separating you from GUAP as a social media construct in that sense? Yeah. Because obviously what you write personally then could reflect on what is very much...
Yeah, 100%. But to be honest, like I said, I'm always myself in it, so that I don't feel there should be... Well, before I used to think there should be a separation, but I am what I am. So my personality here isn't different to what I am here, so there is no separation. If you have Instagram, follow me as well, and Twitter. Gotta put the 2. Is there any more questions?
Do you find that social media helps a lot? Like, do you think it's a necessity?
Speak louder so they can hear.
Do you find that social media is actually a necessity to have when you're trying to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, 100%. Because, well, you know what? It depends. Because you could be someone who goes. You could be someone that does stuff behind the scenes. And another thing to note: a lot of people can be entrepreneurs in businesses. You can go to like a company and be an entrepreneur in that company. I think it's called like an intrapreneur. But you can have those characteristics to make change and do things in a business. But with social media and being an entrepreneur, if more people see your work and more people know you do this certain thing, so let's say me speaking here and I post it on social media, now if someone goes on my page, they know I do public speaking. So yeah, so people be in contact. So if people are thinking, who's a black male so I want to do a talk on diversity, blah, blah, blah. Who's a male entrepreneur that's black? They're going to think of certain names. Oh, yeah, Ibrahim does that, or X does this, or Y does that. So you kind of have to use social media to become the main people of your field. So let's say if you're a designer, you need to use social media to showcase how you do your style and make sure that when people want something designed, they're thinking about you first. Yeah. Yeah? Any more questions?
When you curate your content, is there any criteria to pick up? Like, what's the process? How do you decide you want to keep something in?
So, our whole brand ethos is we want to either inspire or entertain. So that's the first two things. So then when we think about the content, we think about how long it's going to take to make, if we're doing a series or just a one-off, how many cameras we need to do it, who we need to get involved, and scheduling and when we want to release it. That's literally like the order flow. How we choose, we kind of have a team discussion if we think the content's good enough or not. If all of the team think it's good, we do it. If they don't, we don't. Yeah. Any more questions?
Lastly, on a related note then, on that one, because we have a host of different students with different skills and different interests, and we understand that your company has a variety of different people working within it, how does the team actually work in producing this? So
you know what, at this current moment, I've actually shot all the stuff by myself. The majority of the team are writers, and we literally just had an application process for getting emerging videographers and photographers involved, because I want to share my knowledge and teach other young people how to do that stuff, as well as help the brand to produce more. So yeah, right now we don't actually have a production team, but it's something that we're working on.
You need interns?
Yeah.
Guys need interns?
Yeah, we do. Well, yeah, we'll talk after.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's the Instagram.
Yeah, but yeah, it's Ibrahim Kamara _ on Twitter, Ibrahim Kamara _ on Instagram, Ibrahim Kamara on LinkedIn. Oh yeah, be consistent with your brand as well, because this is my same. There's a reason why this picture is the same picture on everything. All those little things matter.
If you think this is a nice picture, then as many of your compatriots were doing, if you know, we've got a green wall full of leaves outside. Maybe Ibrahim could have set a style for us all. Thank you very much.
This picture, was actually taken on the Google Pixel. Just let you know. Crazy, innit? Qualities. Thank you. But yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Hope it was helpful. Thank you.